All right, so in today's video, we're going to go over all these versatile work lights. These are Harbor Freight lights, and we're going to go ahead and compare to the Hotlight from Amazon. This one retails for under $40. This is a very nice, powerful unit, 1200 lumens. You have 3 light modes, 5000 milliamp battery, and this thing is, pretty sweet. Got a magnet at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and go over, all the lights and look at the specs and see, which one, comes out on top. So if you have any questions or comments, you know what to do. Don't forget to like and follow. Check out some of our links. They do help out the channel. Let's get right to it. All right, so let's take a look at it. One of the things I really like about this, it comes in a box. If you ever purchased any of the Harbor Freight, you know that you need a machete to open them up and, get to the product. Now, it's really nice and pretty the way the presentation is, but look at how much less space they would take in shipping and perhaps put it on a shelf. But besides the point, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at all the little details. This one here comes with the flashlight. It comes with a little manual and a USB-C charging cable. Okay, very simple little manual. Gives you all the instructions. It gives you your pretty much your running times: 1200 lumens, 5 hours, 300 lumens. On the warm bar, because you have the cold one and the warm, so it's a little bit more of a yellowish color, 300 lumens, 9 hours, and on the spotlight, you got 100 lumens and you have 28 hours of running time. Great to keep them around for hurricanes and things like that. And you have a 5000 milliamp battery. It's a IPX4 rated, which is very nice. So it's pretty much kind of like a copy of the Braun, that we have here. So we'll go over all the details. All right, this thing feels absolutely heavy duty, aluminum construction. It's got a wider base on the bottom, super strong magnet. And one of the things I like about this unit here, that is kind of like just like the Braun, that you could remove the battery, okay, and replace it. This is a bigger battery than the one that comes on the Braun products. You have like a little O-ring to kind of seal it from the elements. And it feels fantastic. You have a twisted head, very nice, okay? And you have your on and off button there. And it tells you pretty much, when it's the batteries run out. So, pretty standard. You have your charge port, you have your USB-C charge port, and then you have your USB, which you can actually use it to charge, your phone or whatever. If you're in the field and you need, some battery power, there you go, super simple. You get your USB cable, and then you could plug other items to it. So nice little feature that this unit has. And it's got a little rubber. The rubber cover, it's a little bit, more cumbersome than the Braun to put it back in, but it works. I say it has a nice feel to it. All right, so here you have your, I think this is a 5K light temperature, okay? So you have on all of them, you do have the ability to dim it. You press and hold your main button and it dims. When it flashes, it tells you that you're at the end. And same thing when it goes all the way full. That means that you are all the way to the top. So this is your warm light. Same thing, you could dim it by holding your power button. And you could go ahead and go full. And then this one here, if you press it twice, becomes a flash for roadside. Very cool. Okay. Then you have your spotlight. Same thing. You can dim it. And this thing is super, super bright. Okay. You also have a nice little nifty option in the front, a little magnet. So when you lose your 10 millimeter, you could pretty much, get small little items. Great little magnet. The bottom one, extremely strong, okay? And having the wider base gives you even more stability. So even if you put it on a regular surface, you could use it like that, okay? Very, very nice construction. Like I say, pretty much tilts on kind of like a 2-hinge setup there, so barely takes up any space. So this thing is absolutely awesome. You could buy, more batteries if you want to. This is kind of like what I did with my Braun. And, if you run out of batteries, you don't have to buy more flashlights. You just replace it and you're pretty much good to go. So, all right, let's go on to the next one. All All right, so let's go over the Braun. This is a 500 lumen flashlight, very versatile. I own a couple of these. You know, when they came out, they were great. They did some improvements on it. They changed the pivot here, so you could pretty much do any angle you wanted to. So like I said, 500 lumens. This is the model number if you want to pick these up. These retail for about $29. Sometimes you can get them with a coupon for about 19 bucks. I have them on special. So it's it comes with your USB-C charging cable. And these are the run times for these one here. 500 lumens, you get about 2 hours and 30 minutes. On low, you get 155 lumens, 7 hours and 45 minutes. And then you got the little flashlight, you got 65 lumens, about 20 hours and 45 minutes. All right, still a great little flashlight. I've had issues with my my first version that this here kind of like has a bad contact, so it kind of flickers. But like I say, if you could pick these up for about 19 bucks, 25 bucks sometimes, it's a no-brainer. It does have a magnetic base, and it comes with a 2200 milliamp battery. Okay, so this is one of the ones that I have here. Let's go over all the details. I've had this for about a year and still running pretty strong. You do have your little charge port of USB-C, and it kind of lights up. Depending on the battery, if it's low or high, whatever the case may be. Magnet at the bottom, same thing. You could open it up and take the battery out, which I really like this option. So I have multiple of these batteries. This is not the one it came with. So I have multiple of these. So when I'm out in the field, I don't have to have 3 or 4 flashlights. I could just carry the batteries with me. But still, great little flashlight. Keep one in the trunk, and you got about 500 lumens, 2-stage, and then you have your little spotlight. Same thing, it does pivot, so it's pretty much almost like the same thing. All right, so this is the icon. This is actually a new one that just came out. Same model as the previous one. Now you could get them in red, blue, and I believe green. So this one's 800 lumens. And this one here retails for about $39. And like I said, sometimes you can get the coupon from Harbor Freight and get it a little bit cheaper. So I do have, one of these in black. I've had for quite some time, probably about 3 years or so. And definitely a very strong magnet. Out of all the ones that I have, this is like the strongest magnet that I have. It does have a little issue with, the actual long bar being, on the opposite side, but you could actually flip it, very easily. And this one here has 800 lumens, and you get about 3 hours of runtime. On the low, you get 200 lumens, you get 7 hours of runtime. Now the backlight is 500 lumens, you get 4.5 hours of runtime, and when you put it on low, 180 lumens, you get about 8.5 hours of runtime. The flashlight's 150 lumens, and you get about 7 hours of runtime. It does come with a USB-C charge cable. All right, so this is the one that I currently have. Wanted to get the red one because it actually looks pretty cool. So like I said, 800 lumens, you have your on and off button right here. So you could basically cycle through the 3 options, and it does keep memory, which I really like that about the icon. So, you basically, you have the 2 settings. I believe the flashlight only has 1 setting, but the 800 lumens, you have the 2 settings. Okay. You have no pivot on the head and no full pivot completely. So what I did was I flipped it so I could do this and have the 800 on the bottom. Very easy. Got to take some of the screws out. I believe these 2 here, you could flip it and you could have this. I wanted to kind of like use it like this. I sometimes put it on the vise. So I wanted the 800 on the actual tilting of the, because it comes the other way. Now, you do have a very strong magnet on the bottom. This one is pretty powerful. Never had an issue with it falling, but you don't have a removable battery. So you can't twist it and take it out. You have to remove the screws here, and you have a battery that has like a little pigtail and you plug it in. So you have to, if you want to change the battery on it and you're on the field, you do have to remove the screws. I wish they would actually have a twist of bottom and you could replace the battery with, kind of like the Braun has. And you have your charge port right here. So you have your little LEDs that basically tell you, what your battery life is. I still love this one. I use this one for doing videos under the car. You get no flicker on the film. Very, very nice, strong. But when your battery dies, you're pretty much got to put it aside, get another one, or, like I said, take it apart and change the battery or just put it to charge. But still a fantastic option. It is, a little bit, thinner than the Braun. So if you're looking for something small, this one is the way to go. Okay. If you compare it to the Hotligh, the Hotlight's a little bit beefier, but obviously, the Hotlight's a much, brighter. All right, so let's go ahead and go over the Icon 1000 Lumen. This is the DSLB-R, okay? And this one here retails for about $59.99. And like I said, if you're gonna buy anything at Harbor Freight, always look for the coupon, get yourself the 20% discount and get yourself the extended warranty. Usually what I do, with something that I'm gonna keep for quite some time and use on a regular basis. So you have the long bar right here with 1000 lumens. You have a little UV light, which makes this flashlight fantastic for mechanics, but you have to look at the size also. If you look at that, it's like twice as thick and much longer than your other standard ones, but you have different options. With this one, you do have a little hook right here to hook it on, the hood latch or anything like that. It is a pain in the butt to take it out of there, unless you use your nails or a screwdriver. I've seen some reviews complaining about this little section here. All right, so you have a magnet right on this surface here, so you could kind of lay it flat, and also on the bottom, which is pretty strong magnets. So it gives you both options there. Now you do have 270 degrees rotating head, comes with a USB-C charging cable, and these are the actual runtime. So on the 1000 long bar, you get 4 hours of runtime. So you have on low, you have 120 lumens, 17 hours on the front. You have 800 lumens, 4.5 hours. On low, you have 100 lumens, 17 hours. So your flashlight, which is the strongest one of all, 400 lumens, you get 10 hours. So the flashlight is inside here, so only works when you have the the actual bar kind of like laying inside here, and then you have its own on and off button. It only works when it's completely closed, so that way it's kind of like the flashlight kind of like looks like that. And here you have your power button, and you cycle through the lights. This one here, it's more of a 3K temperature. It's not as as white as this one. And then you have your little UV on the tip here, which is pretty cool. Like I said, if you're a mechanic and you want to look for leaks and things like that, it works fantastic. You have your battery indicator, which is pretty sweet there. Okay, and you pretty much could cycle through the lights. If you hold it, just flickers. All right. So it just comes back to it. So you can't change it while you're actually on it. So it goes back to, kind of like a cycle. All right. So this is, it's a little bit big, for my taste. I'm not going to keep this one. I just got to kind of like show you the options, and see how bright it is compared to the Hotlight. So still a lot of options for this flashlight. So if you're a mechanic, this is a good option to have. And then obviously I'm not going to be able to show you the flashlight because this is side here. It only works when it's completely closed, but it does have its individual on and off button. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at how bright they are. All right, this is going to be the Hotlight at 1200. Another thing that I forgot to mention, has this cool little reflector. Kind of cool at nighttime. This is the flashlight. This is the Braun, 500 lumens. The lower setting. And the flashlight. So you can see it's not as powerful. 800 lumens. Smaller light bar. Flashlight, which is not bad. 1000 lumens. There's the UV, which is a great little option. Again, 1000 lumens. All right, let's see how it lights up a room. This is the Hotlight. That is so cool. I like that. It's cool. Flashlight. All right, so this is the Icon 800 lumen. Flashlight's actually pretty sweet. All right, this is the Braun 500 lumens. Lower setting. And this is the little flashlight, which is not very strong out of the group. So this is the bigger Icon, 1000 lumens. This is the warm light. And then next setting will be both. Kind of like lights up the room, but you have your little UV. All right, guys, so final thoughts on the Hotlight flashlight. You know, this is a fantastic little light. I really do like it. All the options, you know, the build quality on it, magnet, white base, removable battery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy, you know, 2 batteries to have. I am actually going to get another one so I can have one in the car because it's so powerful, you know, with the magnet options. Kind of like twist head, no brainer. You know, it's easy to use and it just feels fantastic with the option of, you know, this USB charge port and the miscellaneous, you know, accessory port. Very nice flashlight. I would definitely consider it. So this is the Hotlight. You know, versus the Braun from Harbor Freight. You can get these on Amazon. Definitely check out some of my links that do help out the channel. If you got any questions or comments, you know what to do. Thanks for watching.